takeaways out from Sunday's game to you?
Yeah, on the positive note, we are a resilient bunch, but like we've been saying, we got to put 4 quarters together, and even if we put 3.5 together, we're still pretty good. So we'll bounce back and be ready for Texas.
When you look back at film, if you've done that yet, what maybe stood out to you when Kim was talking about some plays we take off, some we don't? Like, how much did that show up in film when you watched it back?
Oh, a lot, the whole time. But that's, it's a common theme that we've been having to deal with. So it starts in practice, so we'll be holding them accountable in practice and go from there.
Have you seen the players take maybe any more accountability after a third loss and it happened the third time than maybe previous losses?
Say that again?
Have you seen players take more accountability this time than maybe the previous 2 losses?
Yeah, I mean, our leadership group is actually out there meeting on their own right now, so they're getting it together. They're taking more accountability and coaching each other better, so it should get better.
What did you like kind of about what the team was able to do to adjust in the second half when those threes weren't falling?
I thought we pushed pace more. We got more stops on the defensive end. Our defense really fuels our offense, and when we do that, we're pretty good. When our offense is struggling, we don't really try as hard on the defensive end, so that's what we have to fix.
You talked about their resiliency. What do you think their competitiveness does? I mean, do you like how competitive they are? Would you like to see them more competitive to be better for 40 minutes? Excuse me. What do you see out of their competitiveness?
They are a competitive group. Obviously, I want to say I wish they were more competitive, but I think that's normal. We really like to compete when we're down, and I think it really starts from the beginning when it's 0-0 that we have to have that mindset the whole game.
Is there a different sense of urgency with this team when, I know you don't want to look ahead, but when you do look ahead and 4 of, I think the next 5 opponents are in the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
So is there like a different sense of urgency or determination in this team knowing what's coming up?
I think our sense of urgency should always be there. We're going to look 1 game ahead, and we're not going to go any further than that.
Texas is a really complete team, but obviously their defense stands out a ton. Just being able to get back in transition and limit that and really get after you in the half court. Just what do you kind of expect from Thursday, and how big of a challenge is that?
Yeah, it's going to be a challenge. We need to get stops on the defensive end so they can't get set up in their press. So hopefully we can keep our pace going. So really, we just have to really settle in on our defense and really fix that first.
When the shots aren't falling and it is affecting the defense, how do you get them to flip that switch to still be engaged defensively and engaged with the press, even when those shots aren't falling?
Yeah, it starts with the pressure up top. When we don't have pressure up top in our press, then it just, kind of falls to shambles, which everyone has seen. So it really starts with our on-ball person, and once we get them going, then it usually follows suit.
How hard is that to do when you're not making shots? Because there's no stoppage play to set it up. How hard is it to play with the kind of pressure that you want to play with, regardless of shots falling or not falling?
Well, it shouldn't really be that hard. I mean, we press make or miss. We practice it every day in practice, so our girls know how to do it. They know how to get up and match up, so it's just not as fun when you're not scoring.
It feels like it's been a struggle to get out in transition for you guys recent games.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like that's tied to not getting as many stops when you need it, or just what's kind of stood out there?
Yeah, definitely not getting as many stops when we need it, but also we did a better job against Vanderbilt in that second half with our transition offense. We are actually about to go watch that right now because that's what we have to do against Texas. So it's improving, just not at the rate we would like.
Another thing Kim mentioned post-game is wanting to get layups on the road, not settle for 3-pointers. Is that more of a mental thing, or is that something schematically?
We always talk about that especially when we're on the road, is getting to the paint, getting to the free throw line. It's harder to shoot in arenas that we're unfamiliar with. So yes, schematically, we are looking at that on the road always.
Zia was questionable going into the last game. Obviously, she played. Was that the type of injury that could kind of linger and maybe be an issue going forward? Is she good to go?
She's good to go.
Jenna, just how do you expect the staff roles to operate if Kim ends up needing to miss a game?
Mm-hmm. Our staff, we work very well together. We're all coaching on the floor, and especially in practice, we all have our certain areas of expertise that we really look into, and we're all kind of different in a way that we really focus on different things. So it'll be a collective effort.
You and Kim have now coached together 3 different locations, 4 years. How would you say that your minds kind of think alike now that you've had so much time together?
Pretty similar. She likes to say that she raised me in this profession, so similar in that aspect. We do have different basketball minds, so it's good to work together when we think differently in that area. But in terms of coaching and leadership, same style.
What stands out to you about this school and the program, the environment since you joined the staff?
Oh, it's outstanding. I mean, there's nothing bad to say. The fans are great. The administration is top tier, and it's been a blessing to be here.
Kim said something to me last year just in an interview about how her goal is always to have her teams in a place where they could run practice on their own. It's the same intensity. Nothing's changed if she's not there. Where do you think this team is in that regard? And do you think if she does have to miss practices, that will motivate them to get there if they are?
Yeah, no, I think we're good there. I think our leadership group right now is, meeting just for the future, just whenever that does happen. So they'll be ready to go, and I think they will practice just as hard if she's here or not.
How important is it ahead of Texas to clean up the turnover margin, especially after what we saw against Vanderbilt?
Yeah, extremely. I mean, we did not force enough turnovers against Vanderbilt. I mean, they had 12 turnovers, which if we're pressing the whole game, didn't really seem like we were pressing. And then obviously Texas forces 25 a game, so we have got to limit our turnovers and keep the possessions in our battle.
What's the key to do that?
The key to do that would just be taking care of the basketball, slowing down, not letting their pressure speed us up. We want to play fast, but we want to play smart at the same time. And if we don't have anything, we'll pull it back out.
Kim always talks about coaching effort for you personally. How do you coach effort to this team or previous teams?
No, I think it's really depends on the person, because you can yell at some, you can just talk to some, and it's really just however they need coached. And we've been able to learn that month by month, and we're getting better at that.
Kim mentioned Sunday that consistency for this team starts in practice. Stringing good practices together. What's kind of set up for that area to you? Where do you feel like the team needs to be more consistent in practice?
Yeah, I think it shows in games. We have one really good practice, and then the next it's just okay, and that's something that our leaders and our coaching staff as a whole just needs to do a better job at every single possession, no matter if it's offense, defense, or whatever we're coaching, that we hold them accountable.
Thanks, Coach Burdette.
Thank you, Jenna.
Thank